What's going on, everyone? It's Mitch from RespectMyReason.com. We're coming back from the Flower Expo, our journey powered by Treez. I'm here with Will Ketterburg, head of sales at Treez, man. He's about to walk us through the platform a little bit on this beautiful screen we got over here. So, Will, first off, for those out there who don't know, what is Treez?
Treez, we're an enterprise point-of-sale platform. Really, we specialize in not only just point-of-sale, compliance, inventory management, but really analytics and helping really cannabis retailers focus on really making better business decisions to drive higher profitability, higher revenue, all while, having a better customer experience and empowering every stakeholder all the way down to the bud tender. Is really what we're focused on here at Treez.
Yeah. And so I'm very familiar from a marketing standpoint of working with our operators in a couple different states that have used Treez. So I'm very used to looking at the analytics and understanding what's selling through, how long things have been on the shelf, being able to look at inventory so I can understand from a marketing perspective, what should we put on sale, where are those sweet spots where things are selling through at, and then also what do we have inventory that we might need to figure out a creative way to get rid of. But I'm not as familiar of being on the floor using it as a dispensary. So if you can kind of just walk us through, man, how some of this platform works.
Absolutely. I think the name of the game is customer retention, and that starts with driving a great customer experience. So really right here out of our Sell Treez UI, we do that in a few different ways. The first thing is arming bud tenders to know as much as possible about the customer shopping. So when customers are checked back in, we have some data to go off of right away of, what's their average spend? What are some notes that help them drive a better conversation? Right? Making sure we have contact information on file. But really being able to understand the customer. And that starts with striking up conversations based off their previous purchase history, right? So when a customer comes in and we want to know, hey, how did those news tracks work out for you last time? Are we looking for something similar or something different? And then also, being able to quickly look up favorites, right? Understanding what this customer likes to buy most from left to right, and really starting a conversation right there. Another thing that's ultimately going to come from knowing more about your customer and driving more loyalty to get them back in the door, ultimately results in higher basket sizes. That's also something that's really important for us, is helping bud tenders easily upsell where it's natural, and really helping them understand where they're at, really for what the expectations are from their management on AOV to hit. Yeah.
And having that custom tailored experience for every customer, right? If I come in, sure, you can add, do you want to add a $5 pre-roll or something on sale? But like you said, if you can see what that person's purchasing on a frequent basis, or notice, hey, the last 3 times or every 3 times they come in, it looks like they add an edible alongside their aid. You can easily drum that up and add them, remind them, hey, do you want to add that in there? Because you're absolutely right. Increasing average order, that's something that can drive the revenue for a business, but also just custom tailoring that experience. When you walk into a store, yeah, you want to get greeted and be familiar, but if they start making recommendations based on what you actually purchased, you're likely going to convert on those.
Absolutely. And we always say for retailers, what doesn't get measured, it's hard to improve on. So one thing that we're really focused on is really course correcting and making sure that we're hitting the metrics that are important to growing the business. And that starts with AOV, right? So you can see up here in the top right corner, we actually average out after every transaction what the average order value is going to be. And then we also have some tools specifically for bud tenders that help them understanding how they're performing. We kind of gamify the experience a little bit with how they rank on different things like average order value.
So this is a specific bud tender's profile, right?
Absolutely. This is essentially a dashboard where the bud tender can see how they're performing, right? How am I tracking on, and even something that management can set KPIs and targets for AOV, right? And we can see how we're doing daily, weekly, monthly, and even towards the annual goals. And other KPIs as well, like sale time, right? How fast are we moving through transactions? And then also getting a good understanding of what brands we're selling, right? So this is really useful information for the bud tender to have at their fingertips to ultimately drive better performance and ultimately better customer interaction.
And for management, you can look at, this is per this particular bud tender?
Yeah, this is specifically for bud tenders. For actual management, we have a whole suite of analytics that really help us drive in. And even in the analytics, first of all, this is also, it can be looked at across multiple stores, different date ranges. You can filter down to a lot of different data, and you can manipulate these columns right here out of the UI. And a lot of other platforms, you got to do this in Excel or mash together reports.
Power BI.
Exactly. So we want to help drive better performance, obviously for the bud tenders, but another big theme for us is helping reduce potential sales loss, and really trying to eliminate opportunities where we're either losing out on essentially reordering. Like if a inventory item stocks out, if we don't have that in stock and it's a fast selling item, we're losing money. So we also want to have analytics that track velocity of products, how fast products are moving off the shelves when it's in a sellable location. And we have a lot of great tools that essentially tell you, based off your sellable velocity, when you're going to stock out. So you can get ahead of reordering that in time and ultimately reduce potential sales loss.
Yep. Which is a huge thing, in the supply chain. It's very fragmented in this space, but being able to get your best sellers, especially on a regular pattern. But then again, from the marketing perspective of how I've used this for dispensaries before, is understanding if we move X amount a day and we're not really running discounts on that, we know we don't need to discount this product. We can get full margin on that clearly. Some of these ones that we might not be moving units on, maybe we need to A/B test some discounts versus that to see what things are selling and at what price point and what offer they're selling. And this is definitely something from a marketing perspective that's a super easy tool and something that, again, unbiasedly, as a fan of Treez, that has a dashboard that looks like this, that I don't got to also hire someone to build a Power BI and then hope that that's working all the time. I can get this in a way that I can manipulate the data, like you said, but it's also visibly pretty.
Yeah,
visually easy to read and make actions off.
And you nailed it. It's very competitive out there in the retail space. A lot of people are throwing discounts out there, trying to see what works and what sticks, but just losing money because they're not tracking the performance effectively. So that's another thing that we help do, is quickly point out which discounts drive higher AOVs, drive higher average order profits, higher margins, and this makes a huge impact at the at the bottom line, really, for the retail operators. And also understanding which discounts are performing and which products are selling, and tracking how does this, when this discount's applied, how does this actually impact essentially when it's discounted versus when it's not discounted.
Right.
So you can see I selected a product right here. If I come in here, I can actually see percentage of sales when it's discounted versus when it's not.
Oh, wow.
Ultimately, what are our margins at when we look at that? And it really gives you some good detail here.
These are each of the discount activations and the data for those. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
$10 off.
That's right. So you can see here, when we discount this product or these different types of products, we've actually, our margin's taken a little bit of a hit, but we've almost tripled the velocity.
Right.
Right. Almost, essentially, almost 3-4x the amount of tickets we're doing, which ultimately means more revenue, more profitability for the retail themselves.
Making better informed decisions with data, man. Well, Will, I really appreciate you giving us the tour around the platform, man. We're out here at the Flower Expo in Greenfield, Massachusetts, checking out the Treez booth. Stay tuned for more content along the journey.